Welcome to the Champions League reaction with Roni, and it's a somber Wednesday morning because the Arsenal have finally lost a football game this season. Disappointing loss to RC Lens. Negative on that one, and it was a very disappointing display from Arsenal despite going 1-0 up. I thought that there was no control in the game, and we just allowed their press. So when they started pressing from the front to cause us trouble at the back, and that created opportunities for them. So a very disappointing display from a defensive standpoint from Arsenal. I thought the goalkeeping wasn't great. There's lots of people that's complaining now. Is that actually an upgrade so far on David Raya? I think it's still too early to say. But obviously when you do lose a football game, then obviously question marks are going to come on every aspect. Obviously Bukayo Saka now also injured. I can't see him being ready for the game against Manchester City on Sunday, so it looks like we're going to lose a key player, and obviously that's a huge problem for us, whereas Man City, who will not have what's the guy's names, De Bruyne and Rodri, who are huge players and players that actually always do well against Arsenal. It just doesn't look like it's going to be a good one for the Arsenal come this Sunday, but neither here nor there. That game we'll focus on later on, but very disappointing display from Arsenal going obviously. Well, both teams made mistakes, and it just seemed like Arsenal, once again, similar to the Tottenham Hotspur game, where we just weren't able to take our opportunities, and then the opposition being clinical. And you can look at it as being clinical or opportunities that you should take in general, whereas Arsenal did not take those opportunities. The likes of Tomiyasu, I thought it was a difficult chance. Tomiyasu's chance in the second half, but still it went straight at the keeper. Anywhere left or right, and it's a goal for Arsenal, and the game looks much different. And then also Jesus took his goal really well, so very happy for him on that one. And then obviously Trossard didn't really do well on his opportunity. Havertz had a good chance. I think that was also again difficult, but the Trossard one could have done a little bit better there. Not much created other than that. Didn't really have a foothold in the game in the second half, and mostly sideways passing. That once again was a negative for me. I didn't like that. So it's disappointing. But you're not going to win every single football game. You're not going to be at your best. You just want to see your team obviously show fight and all those type of things. There probably was, but when you look at the deals, Lens were better on one-on-one deals. So obviously one of the first games in quite a while where Arsenal lost most of their deals, and it just didn't look right on the day. I'm hoping that there was it's going to come across as an excuse, but it's something that I have to mention. There was obviously issues with the Arsenal team not taking off. I don't think it made a difference with regards to energy and all those type of things, but they did have a delay with their flight, and then I'm assuming they probably only arrived on the day. I don't think that was a reason for the performance and for the display, but it's out there. But obviously I'm going to give all credit to Lens. I thought they were fantastic. They did really well. The key thing was obviously all Arsenal's avenues of creating opportunities they closed down, especially when Zinchenko goes into midfield. There was quite a bit of giving the ball away again, similar to the Brentford game in the Carabao Cup. Different players, but giving the ball away, and then obviously creating our own difficulty with the way that we are trying to play out from the back. Once again, that is part of the pillars of the way that we play. So on the one hand, you obviously applaud us for keeping going on that. But if we are trying to find different ways of winning football games, then we need to show that. And it was lots of sideways passing once again from Arsenal. And also, what was the other thing that's prevalent? Once again, our European performances last season and the season before that under Arteta, the seasons that we were in the Europa League away from home, it's very similar. First of all, the opposition are similar. So PSV and Lens, okay, PSV we were really good in the first game, so take that one away. But just our away performance here and the similarity to last season's away trips. We struggled against teams that we should be beating, and Lens we should be beating. I thought Lens were very good on the day, better than the teams we played last time out. And obviously it was a huge occasion for them as well, the same way it was a big occasion for us a couple of weeks ago when we were at home. So Yeah, very, very, very disappointing. There was only, what was it, 2 changes from Saturday, where we were really good against Bournemouth. I know different opposition, different competition, different style, and all of those type of things. Obviously, David Raya in goal, Tommy Yasso coming in for Ben White. Ben White has played every single game so far, so I understood that one. And then obviously Saliba and Gabriel, and then Zinchenko. Not great games from them at the back, but it was also our own doing. The way that we passed out from the back when we were under pressure didn't always work, and then obviously passing out from the back into the middle half of the field, that's where we tended to lose the ball in midfield. Even though Rice had a decent game. So Rice, obviously, Havertz and Ødegaard, that midfield didn't work for some reason, and that could be because of the way that we tried to play out from the back and the way that Lance pressed us, which we need to give them credit for. And then obviously up front, surprisingly, Saka played and obviously ended up going off injured. This time it was said when he tried to do a back heel, there was a muscular issue, and yet another muscular issue for Arsenal. Thomas Partey muscular, Martinelli and Trossard. Trossard didn't look that great because built up momentum. Remember, he scored 2 games consecutively. That was against Everton and against PSV. Then he got injured, and then he didn't look anywhere near himself in this game because he's now coming back. So players that's coming back from these muscular injuries are not able to be at their best straight away, and that is going to be a problem with Martinelli, Thomas Partey. So if they are both available on Sunday, that's going to be a problem against a Man City team that's going to be rampant after their 2 losses so far in the last week. So I think that's we're going to be in for big trouble on Sunday. Let's just put it at that. And we are not doing well at home, and now we've had our first poor performance away from home. So we'll take it on the chin. Hopefully the team learns from this. I'm still concerned. I haven't put out my concerns because I don't like to do predictions too early on in the season, but part of my concerns are Arteta's ability to get the squad going every 3 days, and Arteta's tactical acumen in Europe. That is my 2 main concerns. That's why I don't think we'll go very far in Europe. And then also from a league standpoint, how are we going to be able to manage the squad? Because for certain players, there's this... I do understand that we don't have all the quality yet in all positions. We've got a much stronger squad. We've got a couple of injuries, but very soon all of them will be back, other than maybe Saka, who might be out for an extended period or till after the international break. I'll be surprised if he makes Sunday. And then Thomas Partey is back. Martinelli might be back after the international break. So let's say everybody bar Timber will be in the squad after the international break, and then we see how we can push on. And then also, just from opposition standpoint, a very interesting game in Eindhoven. Sevilla hit the post twice. They had lots of opportunities on the counter-attack. That's going to be a problem at the Emirates. It's also going to be a problem when we play Sevilla away. That's our next game, so another away Champions League game. So we'll have a away league game. I think it's Chelsea after the international break, and then Sevilla. So very difficult 3 upcoming games. We've got Man City on Sunday, international break, who else is going to be injured, and then Chelsea away, and then Sevilla away after the international break. And that's going to be important. We can't lose to Sevilla because then we're under pressure in the Champions League. But just from how that game went, Sevilla, PSV was able to get a late draw. They were able to create a couple of good opportunities, but Sevilla had a lot of chances as well. So it's going to be very tricky away games in Eindhoven and Seville after this poor performance, but obviously Arsenal can change it around and do well at home, obviously. So I do think that we're going to have to win one of those 2 games and then obviously win our home games. So if we can beat Sevilla, which is possible, they do look dodgy in defense, but they have been looking better in attack, which is a problem for us. Very, very difficult game against Sevilla. Again, Man City, Chelsea. I know we've won the last 3 games at Chelsea. It's going to be very difficult. They are improving. So it's going to be a difficult game. And then we've got the Sevilla game. So next 3 games are going to be very tough for the Arsenal. But we take it on the chin. We accept it. There's other teams that's making excuses all the time. My only excuse in this video was the fact that the team was... their flight got delayed in Luton in preparation for this game. I don't think that had any bearing on it. I'm just mentioning it. We were outplayed at times. We had a lot of ball, lots of sideways passing, but they took their chances. We didn't, and it seems like it's going to be a theme this season. I don't know what the money situation is. A lot of people are saying we should have gotten a striker if there was money. We needed to sell better, and we wouldn't have loaned David Raya. And then you add to that the need for Raya and Havertz in comparison to a striker that scores goals. So we'll see what happens in the January transfer window. But for now, the striker did score. It's just that the other opportunities from the other players, they didn't take their chances. And then we were defensively poor because of the way that we tried to play out from the back and the pressure that Lance put on us. But we'll accept the loss. And that is my reaction, my Champions League reaction for the Arsenal. Sunday, it's Man City. Come on, you Gunners.